You're finally awake. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brothers Take podcast, the podcast where nerdy brothers get together each and every week to talk gaming. My name is Kris. I am joined once again by my brother Eric,
Hello.
and we are back in the room this week to talk Elder Scrolls. Eric, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Elder Scrolls. Well, actually, I have a big Elder Scrolls itch lately. And I jumped into Avowed this week
Right, that's what I
because
was
I had that
thinking.
itch, right? I jumped, because everyone's seen Avowed. Came out maybe was it 2 weeks ago now, and
Sorry.
it has obviously it's like you see a game where you go, well, that's a Souls like because it looks like a
Mm,
Souls game, and you see another, it's like, oh, that's a rogue like because it looks like a rogue game. This is an Elder Scrolls like. It's very like the Elder Scrolls. It
mm,
tickles the itch. I have to say, and I'm only a few hours in. Maybe it would change if I got more. It tickles the itch, but it doesn't quite scratch the itch, and it has me
okay.
thinking about the Elder Scrolls 6. What we want to see in the Elder Scrolls 6, what we'd like gameplay wise in the Elder Scrolls 6. Just talking and contemplating and wondering, first of all, when we'll even see the Elder Scrolls 6. Where do we think it's going to be based? What would we like to see happen in it? All that kind of stuff. That's what we're going to be talking about in this week's episode, and we want to hear from you guys too. So if you're watching YouTube, make sure you jump down into the comments to share your thoughts on what you want to see from the Elder Scrolls 6 or on any of the things that we bring up in this week's episode. If you enjoy this episode, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for all future content. And to those who listen to us on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take again to give your take on the Elder Scrolls 6. We will have down in the description timestamps for various different parts of the conversation. So if you want to skip ahead to certain things, have a look. Feel free to skip ahead. But if you're here for the whole conversation, then welcome to the Brothers Take. And without further ado, let's talk Elder Scrolls. So,
Do you
should we
want to give like
start
a
with what were you gonna
well?
say?
Well, I was about to ask you what. Like, I know you're saying it's tickling the itch.
Oh, Avowed?
Right? Yeah, it's
I
like
was just gonna
for
say,
like a bit of first impressions.
gonna
Like,
do a first
it's
impressions for Avowed because I don't think I'm going to finish it. I'm being perfectly
fair.
honest. I don't think I'm going to finish it. I don't. And last night, as I was playing a bit of it, I got into it a little bit more. Like I was like,
Right?
oh,
Yeah.
actually, I'm enjoying it more than the first night that I played it. I've played about 4.5 to 5 hours, kind of thing.
Well,
So,
that's not too bad. That
so
because
very.
some people go, it gets like sometimes people have games and they go, oh, it gets really good after the 10 hour mark. So, the fact you got interested at the 5 hour
Yeah,
mark is
I certainly
isn't bad.
I got interested, and like I said,
Yeah.
it tickles that Elder Scrolls itch. There's some stuff that I like in it, and then there's other stuff where I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's not exactly like I'm not getting enthralled into the world or anything like that. I don't have
Mm.
that feeling that I get when you put on Skyrim and I'm like, I just want to live in this world. I just want to go everywhere. And oh, look, a random person came up to me, a quest, and oh, someone just tried to kill me. I killed them, searched their body. They've got a letter with my name on it. What the fuck? Launches a whole new quest that's nothing to do. Like
Mm.
Skyrim was so good at doing that and making you want to just stay in that world. I think when you get really engrossed. And Avowed hasn't done that yet for me. But there is some stuff I like here. In particular, I have to say, in the gameplay. And some of this stuff is stuff that I actually think has inspired me to be like, I think I'd like some of this in the next Elder Scrolls.
I have heard that people were like that it definitely is like Skyrim. I've heard that comparison a lot of out in
Yes,
Skyrim,
and that's true. It's true.
and that yeah, most people are saying, but it does the gameplay better.
I think what they mean by that though, because people can immediately, I think when people talk about gameplay, they immediately mean like
Well, I mean the combat, like the
combat.
combat is
Yeah,
better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and combat is better, uh, generally speaking.
I'm not going to
Obviously,
lie. Is that like I know we love Skyrim, we talk highly about Skyrim.
take a
Is
shot.
it hard? Take two shots. Take all the shots. It's gonna be mentioned a lot.
Yeah,
Is it
baby.
is it hard to do better combat than Skyrim?
No, the opposite. But I no, do you know what it is though? I do think that when people say like Avowed has better gameplay, and yes, they are referring to the combat. They're kind of missing though some of the. I think Skyrim has better options, gameplay options. Like there's a lot more you
Okay.
can. Excuse me. There's a lot more you can do in Skyrim. Like whether it's pickpocketing people and like um attacking civilians to become a criminal. Like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of invisible walls in Avowed. There's a lot of
Okay.
if I decide to attack a civilian in Avowed, and obviously like I was trying to get impressions, so I was trying out different things. Um,
Mm.
the your sword or your axe will just go through them, and they won't react, and nothing will happen. The
I
game
have
wants
seen.
you to do, and it's okay. Like that's the purpose of this game. The game wants you to play a certain role, and your role is that of a figure of authority and that kind of stuff. But in Skyrim, I feel like it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, and in that sense, Skyrim always played to me more like a medieval GTA almost. Like it's a
Mm.
sandbox, and you are a criminal basically, and you're kind of a mercenary for hire, and you can go anywhere, as well as having this amazing big quest. But then you start doing stuff
Mm.
like the Thieves Guild and the assassination missions and things like that. And so yeah, I
Yeah, because
think.
I've seen one comparison video where it was like someone was testing out firing arrows.
Hmm.
And so in Skyrim, they're firing the arrows into a tree and then they could pick them back up. Or they fire them up in the air and then they would fall back down and they would pick them up. But in Avowed, when they fired the arrows, they couldn't pick the arrows back up and the arrows just kind of disappeared. Or if they fired them up in the air, they never came back.
Hmm.
I also seen that it was a start of the same video where the person would strike um like stuff on the table, like plates and bowls and shit. And then in Skyrim, they got knocked over the place, but in Avowed, I suppose with the same with the people, it just kind of went through them.
Yes, yeah.
So
One
yeah.
thing that has surprised me with the combat for Avowed, and this is some of the stuff that I would love to see um in Elder Scrolls 6 actually, is so one thing is you can have two different weapon loadouts that you can equip different weapon loadouts in your inventory
Hmm.
and at the press of a button go between them. So for
Yes, because
example,
the
you can
favorites was
have
annoying in Skyrim, to be
right.
honest.
So you can have your swords and then at the push of Y it was, you can go straight to bow and arrow
Mm.
without going into the menu and swapping them out and all, right? Or same with like and then the other thing is magic is awesome in it.
Is it?
I very rarely use magic in. Now I know if Adam was here, he'd be like, "Oh, I had the healing spell in one hand and my sword in the other hand all day long.
Yeah.
My jam,
Or it
right?"
was fire, I think was the other one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I didn't. I was more of a sword and shield guy or a double-handed weapon. I liked going in big and swinging, and that's kind of what I
Mm.
enjoyed in Skyrim. I didn't really enjoy the magic all that much. I didn't enjoy how quickly it ran out and that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Um, in this game, like there's a weapon you can get called the Grimoire, which is a spell book. And
Hmm.
when you have that equipped, it has four elemental spells that are hotkeyed to different buttons.
Okay.
So you hold down to use it, and then just push the hotkey for fire, and you do fire. Now there's a cooldown for fire, but I can follow straight up with ice, or I can follow straight up with lightning
Mm.
straight after. And I think that hotkey thing is like something I would love to see in the Elder Scrolls 6 of like quickly going between magic. And same with the loadouts thing. I think being able to quickly swap out weapons without interrupting and pausing the fight would
Yeah, for
be fucking
sure.
amazing.
I also think it'd be nice because they always do first person, third person gameplay. That even if it was just two, like even if it was just two, like two loadouts, let's say,
Hmm.
and if it was, let's say, a sword and bow, then they're both on your person,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
like yeah, because it's just otherwise it just kind of appears out of nowhere. And sure, yeah, I know it's a bit of they're a bit of sandbox games, but it'd be nice to have that slight level of immersion. That's like those are the two weapons you have hotkeyed,
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you
yeah,
go into
yeah.
so
So
if
you
you
have them
like
on you. Yeah.
yeah, if you leave the game for like 10 hours and come back and you're like, oh yeah, what weapons did I have? And you just go into third person, you see, oh right, I had the bows and arrows and two hand axes. Brilliant. All right, well, I don't really want them. I want to swap them out. Like to have them visually there, I think is really nice because that's one thing in Fallout 4. Because you know, obviously in Skyrim, if you have the bow and arrow equipped, he puts them away, or if you have the sword or whatever the hell, he puts them away. Fallout 3, the same, whatever weapon, you put it away. But I know in Fallout 4, when you put a weapon away, it disappears.
Okay,
And
okay.
it's really weird because it's just like that's a
Yeah, yeah. Where did that go?
yeah, it feels like a step backwards rather than a step forwards. So I hope in 6
Yeah.
they can bring it back. I know it's like a small thing, but it's still that level of like
Yeah, it's detail that you want to
it's
see.
yeah, it's detail and also it's like it's not really something you shouldn't be taking that step back. You should be always moving forward.
Yeah, yeah,
So to have like your weapons kind of on you and stuff, I think would be very, very
yeah.
cool.
So
And
those are
the hotkey option would be awesome.
those are features that I'm really enjoying in Avowed that I'm like, oh man, I really like this and I would love to
Mm.
bring this forward. Another thing that Avowed does that's quite cool is it takes a little page out of Final Fantasy Sixteen's book, and in the middle of dialogue, there is a button you can press to kind of get lore
Okay, cool.
on what they're talking about, contextual lore. I think that's always a cool thing. Um, but I will say, and obviously your mileage will vary. It totally depends on how into these stories you get. Different stories are going to resonate with people differently. I'm personally, and I'm a big guy for lore and stories, and I mean, you know this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored out of my mind. I'm bored out of my mind listening to these people telling me these things about this dream scourge and stuff like this, and I'm like, there's cool ideas here, but I feel like I actually found myself like, no, like if I was playing, say, a Mass Effect or a Skyrim,
Mm-hmm.
normally I get immersed in, and when I'm talking to someone, and then there's the optional questions you can ask to either get to know more about your companion, and there's companions
Yeah.
in this game, get to know more about your companions, or get to know more about a thing they were talking about, or a historical event, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself jumping straight down to the okay, thanks for that. Off I go. I couldn't care less, and I think that's I don't know if maybe that's just me, maybe it's just my mood at the moment, or maybe it's just that it's not being told in a way that's grasping me, or whatever it is. I'd love to know if other people are getting grasped by the story of Avowed and the world of it. Personally, I'm not. I think it's serviceable. Like I think it's fine, but
Mm.
it's not like great to the point where I'm like, I
Do
gotta
you
keep playing and I want to learn everything that's going on.
do you make your own character or are
You
you just
do.
given a character? Okay,
You
you
do.
make
It's
your own
quite
character.
limited. It's quite a limited character creator. And then there's a weird thing where like so your character is known as a godlike, which basically means there's someone that was touched by a god at birth, and that there's a marking left on them, right?
Okay.
A godlike feature, and those features are they're kind of like because you can choose what godlike feature you would like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of like plant kind of stuff, like growing out of your head, basically is kind of what it looks like. None of them looked appealing to me. And then there's the option to not have it shown in game, right? So,
Okay.
so they have all these options that are kind of ugly. Like, I don't really like it. So then there's the option not to show it in game. So I was like, grand, I don't want to show it in game because I actually don't like it on my character,
Yeah, that's fair.
John. But then it's not there, but everyone who's meeting you is kind of like, "What's on your face?" and "You're a godlike," and all that. And like they can see it, but I can't. So I'm just like, this is just kind of
Right, it's
immersion
kind of the yeah,
breaking. Like
immersion breaking. Right. Okay.
so in a way, I'm kind of like maybe you should just bite the bullet and force people to have it, and just like rather than like it's kind of weird that they're like, this is an important part of the story, but we kind of know you won't like it, so we're giving you an option to turn it off. Like that's
That
kind of weird.
yeah, that's weird. That to me kind of seems like now maybe because I know Avowed is part of a an already pre-established game
Pillars of
series.
Eternity, I think it is.
Yes. And so maybe that was already established in Pillars of
Mm-hmm.
Eternity.
Yeah.
If not, why did they do that choice? That sounds very weird. Now,
Well,
obviously, it was already established like they can't change that, but
I don't know if there was even a need to make your own character all that much. I think they could have just given you a designed character that you play as in this
oh, okay.
RPG.
Is it that
That's what I
limited?
mean.
Like,
Like, well, there's not a lot of options to the character creator. Like, by nowadays standards, certainly by Baldur's Gate 3 standards, it's quite limited.
oh, there's that thing that a lot of people get pissed off here and everybody
Just
get
yeah.
compared to Baldur's Gate.
Um, no, not it's not terrible. It's just, again, it kind of feels like they're doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, oh, well, in an RPG like this, you're supposed to create your character. So here's the bit where you create your character, you know? Kind of, but again, I will say there is bits that like surprised me in this game. Like there was a bit in particular I was like, oh shit, you know, and that bit made me want to keep playing. I was like, there was a mystery I was trying to solve,
Mm.
but the end of that mystery wasn't that interesting. Is the only thing. So then
Oh,
I was kind of like,
okay.
ah, okay. Um, Garrus is in this game. He is one of your.
I've found out Garrus is
He's
in the
your
game. He plays.
first companion. He plays a guy called Kai,
Does he
and
like one of those blue aquatic guys, isn't he?
yeah, and he sounds just like Garrus.
I've seen that, and that's awesome. My boy.
One thing that is nice is you can bring up a wheel during combat and use your and basically get your companions to use one of their abilities, much like you do in Mass Effect. That's
Nice.
a nice little addition, and it made me
Yeah.
kind of go, "Oh, it would be cool in again to kind of learn from this and maybe get systems forward in like Elder Scrolls 6, because clearly this is learning from Elder Scrolls. It'd be nice if Elder Scrolls maybe took some of the good things from this too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, to because in Skyrim, for example, you got companions, but really they were just people to carry your stuff.
They were.
I know they
Yes.
fought, but really they just carried your stuff. So maybe if there was proper companions that are actual characters that and
Mm.
can die and stuff, but like they have their own attributes and stuff, and you can actually they have more use in battle. That might be kind of interesting, maybe. But
Hmm.
again, it
Yeah.
depends. They can't get in the way of how much freedom you need as a player too.
Yeah, because well, the Starfield kind of had that, didn't they? They had like name. I actually you didn't get that far. Starfield has named
Yeah, yeah.
characters that join you. They're part of Constellation, which is the main group you join. So I suppose, and yeah, Skyrim does have it, but I get what you mean. They're not very.
They don't feel like characters. It'd be nice if they felt more like characters.
Yeah, because
If they were to do it again.
the only one in Skyrim that really felt like a full developed character was Serana.
From
Was
the
that her name?
Dawnbreaker
Dawnguard one?
or Dawnguard. What did I say? Dawnbreaker? That's a fucking
Dawnbreaker.
spy movie or something, is it? Dawnguard, yeah, DLC. Yeah.
No, she was like there was other ones that were like, oh
Serena.
yeah, Serena, yes.
Yeah.
So there was other ones that were like, oh yeah, they're a character, but I think yeah, she was the most developed, I suppose.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that would be nice, I suppose, if they had that for six. Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, so I suppose to get off the Avowed conversation then, like in terms of first impressions, those are the things that I like about the game.
Hmm.
It generally looks good. As I've said, the lore and the world is not roping me in enough, which an RPG kind of needs to do for you to
Hmm.
put as many hours as you usually put into an RPG. So I don't see myself playing Avowed to completion. Maybe it's one I would jump into now and again, but certainly as more games come out
This
this
year,
year,
yeah, yeah.
and the ones that I really want to play, there's no way I'm going to be like, ah, I'll give Split Fiction another week. I'll wait and I'll play Avowed instead. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. Or
That's
Clair
fair, yeah.
Obscure when that comes out, or South of
I'm
Midnight when that
yeah.
comes out, or Doom the Dark Ages when that comes out, GTA 6 if that comes out. You know what I
Tides
mean?
of
Like
Annihilation. You gonna get that?
Tides of Annihilation if that comes out this year, Ghost of Yote. There's just no way Avowed is going to be in any way on the top of the list. Like,
That's fair. That's fair. And fair. I think like
it's still it's good. It's good.
so it's a lot better than what it first looked like when we saw it. Because I think it was at the Xbox Direct last year, wasn't it? And it just
Yeah, look at it's better to play than it is to watch. That's for sure.
okay. All right, that's grand.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just wondering because I remember that when they were talking about it, it just lots of generic buzzwords didn't seem really like anything to be honest when I saw it.
Mm,
But yeah, better to play, which is good, and that's what we would hope for Elder Scrolls 6.
absolutely. And guys, if you're playing, what did I say? Lies, guys. If you're playing Avowed, let us know
Eyes
your
and
own
lives.
thoughts. You're probably a lot further than I am. And maybe you can tell me it's like, oh no, Chris, you need to keep playing. Like this shit gets unbelievable. Or maybe be like, no, to be honest, if that's how you're feeling at the moment, that's kind of how it's going to continue for you, or whatever. Do share your thoughts. Please get in touch. But now moving on to the main topic of this week's episode, the Elder Scrolls 6. One thing that I think will help us address this conversation first is last week there was, and a lot of people made videos on this and stuff actually. Good time to be thinking about the Elder Scrolls 6. There were leaks, rumored leaks right?
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I'm not sharing these to be like, we're sharing information, we're sharing leaks about the Elder Scrolls 6. Not at all. Not even a little bit. It's more um, to be like, let's use these as a talking point. Like,
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah. Yeah,
saying
yeah.
these are true or not, but more of a, if they were true, is that what we would like to see? Or is that a terrible idea in our eyes or whatever? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm coming from this. So I don't necessarily believe any of these leaks. But and as well there was a lot of people were making videos on this being like they don't even know who the source was, so it's kind of hard to trust these and stuff like that. Again, not interested in that part. I'm more interested in the hypothetical of it. The
Mm-hmm.
if this was so this is what they were saying, right? Okay, the first point that was revealed is like the game is going to be more immersive with fast loading times, obviously. Like that's that's not a
Mm.
leak. That's I would think, yeah, it will
We
have
we
fast.
would we would hope that.
We would hope that, right? We would hope that.
That's not a definite. They could have
Yeah,
slower
but
loading times.
no, no, they won't. They won't. That'd be ridiculous. Although then
Yeah.
how would we get it the lower? Would you want okay, I thought we were gonna skim past this, but would you want faster loading times than Skyrim?
Yes.
But would you want no loading time? Like would you want it to be more instantaneous and you'd never get those little screens where they give you a bit of lore?
Yeah, I would want to get across the game quicker.
So should there be none of those screens, or is there a time and place for those screens? Like what's
We can have them
yeah
when we're loading into the game, right? So be it
okay,
new game or continue the game or whatever.
but once
And
you're in, like if you're opening doors and shit, just open the fucking doors
and
and
maybe
go.
fast travel.
Okay, okay,
I'll because it's Bethesda and their engine isn't really the best. So I
right.
will allow it for those two. But
You will
when you're
allow
in
it. Eric has allowed it.
I am Mr. Howard, I am allowing you to have two loading screens. Um but when you're actually in a settlement,
hmm
they can fuck off.
Right, just open the door and go.
Yes, just open the door, go because if you're trying to open a door, let's say you open the door and you go, "Oh fuck, wait, I forgot something." Now
Yeah, and
you have to go
I
through
did
the
that
loading
all
screen
I did
again.
that all the time in Skyrim, all the
Yeah,
time.
and like you put up with it because back then on the PS3 and the loading screens were a thing. But now it's getting to a point when it's like, come on. Like, come on.
Yes.
We can speed this up now.
Well, the next rumored leak is
Mm-hmm.
probably a more interesting one to talk about. Takes place in Hammerfell and High Rock. What do you
Two
think?
places.
Yeah, what
Two
do you think? Now they
places.
are side by side geographically. Hammerfell
True.
and High Rock do border each other.
Yes,
High Rock being the home of the Bretons,
it
and
is.
Hammerfell being the home of the Redguards.
Yes.
First of all, do you believe that?
No.
You don't believe it. Okay. Do you feel like it will be one
No.
region, not two?
Mm, no, not necessarily. But when they showed Elder Scrolls 6, it was over foresty jungle looking terrain.
But Hammerfell has that as well as a big desert. Like
What is it?
it's not just desert. It's kind of like people would think of Skyrim as mainly snow, but there's parts of Skyrim that are not.
Actually, most of Skyrim isn't. Um,
Like when I was reading up on it, Hammerfell has I think what's called the Alakir Desert. It's like the biggest desert
yeah,
in all of.
because you have the Alakir mercenaries
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Skyrim.
So there is a huge desert. Um, but there's some parts that are more tropical apparently,
I mean,
and jungle like.
you see, this is the thing, right? Because I remember when we were building up this, you were saying that you would like the next place to be elsewhere. Just
I
to
would
talk.
I would love. I think that would be such a great title. I think even if people really get behind this and think that this is where it's going to be, that like a great marketing when they finally talk about this would be like Todd Howard going, now I know you guys all think that we're going to Hammerfell, but actually we're going elsewhere, and then it just comes up on screen
Yes.
as a play on words, and stuff. And
Yeah, it'd be cool. And
yeah.
I'm sure that'd be a cool, interesting region to go to, but I can't see them making Khajiits the main characters.
So, what are you saying then? You wait. So you're saying you don't believe this rumor, but you also don't think they're going
Well,
elsewhere.
now, no, well,
Where
now,
the fuck are
now
they going?
they're actually not even on Tamriel. They're just going to one of the other continents. You
They're
have
going to
to play
space. It's
something else.
Starfield 2. They're not making
Yeah,
Elder Scrolls 6 at all.
no, they're not. They're actually not. They're just going to re-release Skyrim. Um, well, now that you said though that
Hmm.
Hammerfell has jungles and stuff like that and
Yeah, yeah.
forestry, tropical areas, that maybe then it is going to be High Rock and Hammerfell because
The other,
could be
the,
interesting.
the other thing is, even if Hammerfell doesn't have that terrain, maybe Hammerfell is mainly desert. Is that why you would include High Rock as well? Because High Rock is a forested region.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's their
And
way of having more
and-
geography.
yeah, and High Rock has the tallest tower in the world, I think, so which adds
Oh,
a kind
really?
of that has I can't remember the name of the tower. I'm thinking Adamantine Tower, but I'm probably 100% wrong there. But yeah, High Rock has the highest tower in the world, which
That's
or not in the
cool.
world in Tamriel, which then adds that bit of lore. So Skyrim
Of course.
has the throat of the world. Morrowind has the Red Mountain, which is the largest volcano. Cyrodiil, I'm assuming the Imperial City is the largest city in Tamriel. So then High Rock has the highest tower. So
That'd be cool.
that'd be cool. Also, I think Orzammar is near there.
What's that?
Or is that not the home of the orcs?
Is that the orc? Yeah, I was just. That's what I was wondering. Is that the orc
I think
home?
so. I think so. You don't really find it on the maps. I don't really think their land is actually marked. But anyway, it'd be cool to get two regions, to be honest.
Yeah,
That'd be a huge map.
it is possible. I don't know then if they go two regions though, are they basically just shooting themselves in the foot for the future? But at the same time, I think the approach has to be you make the best game you can now and you worry about the future in the future. Like they
Yeah,
went all out on Skyrim at the time.
they
They were
really did.
all out. So if you like now you have to try to go bigger and better. And I don't not just mean bigger as in a bigger map makes it better. No, it doesn't. But you do
No,
have to go. I mean, they're thinking about the fact that like people still play Skyrim.
mm.
You know what I mean? After this many years.
People have modded and recreated Oblivion to be in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like people are modding the shit out of that. Yeah, it's huge.
So they have to bear that in mind that when they whatever game they make to be the successor to Skyrim has to have enough longevity that people will play it for the next like 20 years basically.
Yes, because six has taken a long. It's well over. It's 14 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, what Skyrim came out in 2011?
Four. Yeah, it'd be 14 years on November 11th this year.
Wow. So yeah, maybe it is Hammerfell and High Rock. Maybe that's true. I would love Elsewhere. I think it would be a cool title. Elder Scrolls 6 Elsewhere, I think is cool.
Mm.
I think people saying, "Oh, you getting Elsewhere" is a cool thing to say. I don't know what you would call one that has
Well, you
two
see,
regions, but
again, when you look at something like Elder Scrolls 4, that was called Oblivion.
true.
It wasn't necessarily named after the location; it was named after a location. So they could name it something like
Absolutely.
they
Oh yeah, it can have a completely different name.
because
Um,
where is Daggerfall? That's the capital city, I think, of Hammerfell.
yeah. In that sense, it would be a bit of a returning to their roots type thing, wouldn't it?
Because I think that's the second one.
They also made a Redguard adventure game. At
We
one
don't talk
point
about
that
that.
nobody talks about. Yeah, nobody talks about it. But it'd be interesting if some of the ideas from that could be finally
Mm.
realized now. Okay, so the next part of the leak, so to
The
speak,
leaks, the rumors.
is it will have naval battles, shipbuilding, and underwater exploration, all inspired by Starfield. I
Hmm.
don't doubt this, actually. This sounds like something they might do.
Yeah, in fairness, because they did the settlement building from Fallout 4, and then they did ship building and outpost building in Starfield. So that's one step further. So I could see them then do one step further where you can build, and obviously the outpost building would have come from Hearthfire and Skyrim
Yeah,
when you're building your house. So I can go see them doing one step further. Yeah, you build your own outpost, your own civilization, which mean the vast deserts of Hammerfell is like perfect location, I suppose, for that sort of stuff. Or building some monastery in the mountains in
that's
High
true
Rock.
because you populate the desert with your own creations.
Yeah, and then I suppose you get to build your own ship. Now, I don't really give a shit. I didn't really like I was meh. I was on the fence with the shipbuilding in Starfield. I really didn't like the outpost building in Fallout 4.
Hmm.
Didn't care for it at all. I was on the fence with the it in Starfield because it was like I want to, but it's so I actually thought it was so convoluted and awkward that I just didn't really get it. So I just didn't. I only like barely touched upon customizing. So if they kind of improve upon it, where you're, because I felt that with Starfield, I was met with more restrictions than I was able to be creative.
Okay, yeah.
There was too many of a this won't work and power outage and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh okay. So I ended up just like resorting back to the original design, only slightly tweaked, and I was like, okay. So as long as we kind of get less restrictive, maybe with ship, although it's you're building a ship, I can't imagine how customizable you can be. It's not like you can design it to look like the Iron Giant.
No,
It's a fucking ship.
it'd just be
But
putting your own spin on
if we can
a
make it look
ship.
like the if we can make it look like the Black Pearl, I'm happy.
Well, you see, here's the first thing that comes to my head when that gets said, right? First of all, I'm like, yeah, I could see thematically, like, well, gameplay wise, I could see why you'd go that way after Starfield, right? It's like, well, what can you build in a medieval fantasy world? A ship as opposed to a spaceship, right? That
Yeah.
makes sense. And then thematically, I'm like, well, if it is in Hammerfell and you're talking about red guards and then naval battles and ships, I'm thinking pirates is what I'm thinking of. And if
Right,
they're
yeah, for
saying
sure.
naval battles, I'm like, do you mean cannons? In which case, if you mean cannons, are we talking, is there flintlock guns coming into the world of, like, are we getting to that point where they have invented gunpowder now? And it's a slightly more modern
Yeah,
age?
I actually can't see them doing that. I think that if they were to do that,
I'm not saying I want that, by the way. It's just these are the things
yeah.
I think about.
No, that's fair because I did just bring up Black Pearl, so I'm obviously thinking that as well. But on a flintlock weapon, I don't think they would do that. I think it would take away the even though it makes sense that at some point these people have to advance,
Yeah.
I just don't think it's
Don't think it's right for this game, huh?
no, it's not right for this universe to have that. But then if people are talking about shipbuilding and they're going to do shipbuilding, would the Somerset Isle not make more sense?
Well,
It's
that sorry,
surrounded by water.
the next part of this is explorable islands. That off the
Okay,
coast
ever.
of that there would be explorable islands to go and maybe do side quests on and things like that, to explore dungeons, that kind of thing.
Yeah, now it would be cool to build. Maybe I mean maybe they'd go for a slightly more Greek design ships because I know they had Roman design for the.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. And so it could be more, and when they say naval battles, rather than immediately going to like cannons, maybe it's more like what are those things called? They're like giant crossbows. What are they called?
The scorpions and stuff like
Scorpions,
that.
ballistas, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe it'd be more like that, like shooting massive bolts at each other's ships and stuff, and
And then
like
you'd have your
more.
crew firing fire arrows at each other as well, like in
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
like you
like
could
an
still
Odyssey.
have a naval battle, but just not like pirate style.
Yeah. So maybe they do that, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe the tension, if it's set in High Rock and Hammerfell, maybe it's that there's a tension between, but like the trade routes. There's trade routes between High Rock and Hammerfell for some reason, and then they're being attacked by pirates. So that could be a story, and then it turns out like the pirates, you might actually think, oh wait, the pirates are actually in the right or something. You know, kind of like and the next version of
Stormcloaks
the
on Imperials.
yeah
I
yeah
was
yeah.
thinking that I was going if you're going to do two regions that are right beside each other in a new age where new history has taken place and blah 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 something's going on. I was like the only reason to include the two of them is well it can't be totally buddies. There has to be something going on. So
Right,
is it that those two nations are at war?
maybe.
And then it'll be up to you as a person in this world who I hope wakes up as a prisoner as always,
They have to be.
you know,
Yep.
it's up to you maybe to pick a side, and both of them are maybe justified a little bit, and it just depends on who you end up siding with to do the quests and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, would you say it's to do? Would you say it if let's say it was that a
yeah,
war between the two nations? Would you say it has anything to do with the Almiri Dominion, or would you say they're gone? Remember those guys in the
oh
High Elves and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
There,
know. Was that the Thalmor?
yeah, the Thalmor.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Thalmor. Yeah.
I don't know why they were
Um,
called. I don't know. Was that just like a
I don't know. They looked cool though. I loved their armor and stuff in Skyrim.
mm,
Uh, Hard to know. I know that the Bretons originated from elves and men mating, basically, and they're
I did
kind of
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's like that's why Bretons are like as humans are prone to magic. They have a natural
Ah.
inclination of magic. But I wonder then, could that be a tension where it's like they've gone back to their like magic roots? There's like a war of magic versus you know
Non-magic. Yeah, yeah.
guerrilla warfare basically in the form of the Red Guards, who usually are kind of assassin types. You know, I'm sure there could be some Middle Eastern Assassin's Creed's vibes in here too. Like, because if this is the region they decide to go with, obviously Skyrim had a very Viking aesthetic throughout,
Right.
Norse aesthetic throughout. Um, Whereas um Oblivion had more of a, and I know they're both Tolkien-esque, but Oblivion had more of a Tolkien look to it. It was basically Gondor versus Mordor. That was sort of
Right. Yeah,
the
for
vibe.
sure.
The
Yeah.
city was Minas Tirith. It was very much
Yeah.
a this is the Lord of the Rings. Even fucking Sean Bean is in it.
Yeah. And Pat. Oh no, Patch Stewart wasn't it? But yeah.
Whereas Skyrim was a bit more Beowulf. It was a bit more Ragnarok. It was a bit more Norse,
Mm.
specifically. So I wonder then, like, they're going to draw, if they go to another region, they're going to draw from other mythologies, possibly.
Mm. For sure.
Um, and might there be a bit more of an Arabic kind of mythology vibe going on? Like, that could be kind of cool if that was the region they were doing.
That would be very cool. That
Yeah,
would be
and,
very
and the
cool.
music would have completely different vibes then. But this becomes a challenge if it's two regions. Might it have a bit of a dual identity rather than like Skyrim has a very clear identity and Oblivion has a very clear identity. Like if you do two regions, do you possibly split the identity a little bit and where it has two vibes rather than one very clear vibe?
Uh, yes, you could end up doing that, but I think that they could blend it well enough together.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I think they'll be fine with that because a lot of the groundwork for this for the continent of Tamriel is laid out
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them.
they have all the main cities like marked on the maps and stuff. So wherever they
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
you're like, well, that city has to be there and that city has to be there and
yeah. And then all they have to do is just kind of flesh it out a bit. So no, I don't really think because the terrain itself changing, it's immediately going to let you know, okay, we're entering a new area, and
hmm
therefore the music can sort of blend from one to the other, and it will just seamlessly change, or at least that would be the hope. You know what I mean? That'd be the hope. So it wouldn't feel so dual identity because it's like same notes, but maybe played at a different key. That
You
makes
sure, yeah?
sense.
Yeah.
So it's still so like the adventure theme or the wandering theme is still the same, but it's just one is played to sound a little more Arabic, one is played to sound a little bit more whatever the fuck the
Whatever
Bretons
would
are.
suit High Rock, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, this is all only on the assumption that maybe this is where they're going. They might not
Yeah.
at all. It might be called Elder Scrolls 6 Black Marsh, and we're all wrong. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
complete,
yeah.
and we're in the swamplands more than anything else. Or is that the Argonian home?
The Arconians are Black Marsh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that, and that could be a completely different place. But then maybe if they do the two regions here, and obviously there's only so many Elder Scrolls games you can make, really. before you run out of regions. Like maybe if this
Yeah, but you
goes
just go
well, aren't Black
back.
isn't Black Marsh and Elsewhere beside each other? I think they are. I think they're both down in the south.
One second, let me get the map. I thought there was a stretch of water between them. Give me one
Oh,
second.
because I was just saying maybe in the future you could pair those two up. Khajiit and Argonians. That'd be a cool story, I think.
Okay, so yeah, Elsewhere and Black Marsh are nowhere near each other.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I can't share the screen, I don't
no, you're
think.
okay.
So you have Skyrim at the north.
Yeah,
High Rock is next to it. It kind of looks like a weird jaggedy symbol.
with Hammerfell just under it.
Hammerfell underneath it, but
Yeah,
Hammerfell is also connected to Skyrim, so they're both kind of side by side.
yeah,
Cyrodiil is huge, fucking hell, and it stretches around like this U shape.
yes.
Morrowind is here, connected to Skyrim and Cyrodiil,
Mm-hmm.
going all the way down. Black Marsh is here.
Yes,
Elsewhere is here.
yes.
There's actually water and Cyrodiil is between them.
Oh, okay, okay.
Valenwood beside Elsewhere, and then Somerset Isle is its own
Oh,
thing
it's
off to the side.
Valenwood is beside Elsewhere. I knew there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of them beside Elsewhere, and I was getting confused. Okay, okay, fair enough. Um,
Let's look at this map.
but yeah. So, what do we think about if they did do naval battles and stuff? Would we be on for that? Would that be interesting to see? Cool to see? So long as it doesn't take up the entire focus of the gameplay.
Yeah, yeah, well, I could probably will, but yeah, as long as it doesn't take up too much focus, as long as they do the missions well, even
Yeah,
because that's one thing that's like a fucking pain in the arse. In Fallout 4 was the Minutemen. They were shite, and trying to build outposts, I think, was really not great.
yeah, but let's be honest, right? And obviously, everyone has their own fandom, and you like what you like. Elder Scrolls is their best stuff.
Yes.
Their best gameplay loops and everything is Elder Scrolls. Their best side quests is Elder Scrolls. Their best, So
Well, you
I'm
say that, but in fairness, we only ever say that we've only ever played Skyrim. Like we've never
I
played.
liked Oblivion too. I would play Oblivion over the Fallout games and Starfield. I got way further in Oblivion than I did in either of those.
How far did you get in Oblivion?
I was closing gates and all sorts of shit. I got fuck all in Starfield. I was bored out of my mind. And
That's your
Fallout is
Star
also, I find, incredibly boring.
Starfield is very the issue with Starfield. This is the thing now I'd say with Elder Scrolls 6. Starfield is really bad at motivating. So Fallout 4, I found really bad at motivating you to do the side content.
Yeah.
Because the main story is I need to find the person who killed my partner and kidnapped my child.
Yeah, so it's too urgent.
It's too urgent.
Yeah.
Starfield did a really bad job of motivating you to do the main story.
Yeah, all the side quests were better.
All the side quests were better. So this, they needed to go back to Skyrim and go, okay, what was it that made the main quest great,
Amazing. And the side
and
quests.
urgent, and the side
Amazing.
but also not make the main quest feel so urgent. Because the main quest doesn't really feel urgent. You can feel like you can do other stuff,
Yes.
but there's also that thing of, oh, I better get on with that. Dragons are coming back. So yeah, they need to
Yes.
kind of balance that. But
Well, speaking of dragons, that's the next thing the leak says. Dragons will return. I don't mind this. I wouldn't make it a key part of the story, though. I would make it more like ever since they came back in Skyrim, they've still been around. You know what I mean? Like he killed Aldo. The Dragonborn would have killed Alduin, stopped the main threat. But wild dragons could still be a thing. They could be hard optional enemies to fight. Maybe there's a side quest about a particular dragon to go get. But I don't think it needs to be a key part of the game. But I think it's okay that, especially if there was ships and a dragon starts flying over you and everyone's on the ship is panicking and you're trying to shoot down a dragon with the ship, like that'd be kind of cool.
you can't kill them though.
What do you mean you can't kill them? You just can't absorb their soul.
Yeah, so they come back.
But weren't they only coming back from the dead because of Alduin? Or am I wrong?
Yes, because all the Dragonborns of the past
Yeah.
killed the dragons. Only a Dragonborn can permanently kill a dragon.
Oh,
Other
okay.
than that, the body dies and it will always come back
So,
eventually.
do you feel like this actually is a bullshit one then, or what do you think?
I would feel that, well, the problem is if you kill it and it permanently stays dead, that's ruining lore. I'm pretty sure the lore that lore is correct. Only the Dragonborn can kill, permanently kill. That was the importance of the Dragonborn. So if you kill them, if they're in the game and you kill them, they stay dead. That kind of ruins the lore. If you kill them, they come back. It makes it a little bit like, what's the all right? So they're just gonna constantly come back
Yeah,
as like
but
a pest.
I'm sure they don't come back instantly, right? So they would just feel like randomly generate enemies. When you kill it at that time, you won't see that particular one again, and
For a while
if
until it comes back.
yeah, like I don't know. I don't really care if they're in it or not. I don't want them to be a main focus because I think
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
was
No,
the
no.
point of
We
Skyrim, and
caught that.
it was great to
I'm
have them as the main enemies there.
sorry. I'm still looking at the map and I can see the islands and the stretch of water between Hammerfell and High Rock. And yeah, I can see why people might think there's might be those two, bit of naval combat.
Do you think the more you're looking at it, the more we're talking about it, that there could be some truth to these rumors, and it's like this sounds like it makes sense as the next step for Elder Scrolls?
Um,
There's a lot gameplay wise that makes sense. I think.
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against it as long as they just do
Just do
they
it well.
capture just do the fucking jobs.
Make it good.
Just make yeah, make it good. Like I mean, as long as they really capture the heart of it, you know.
Hmm.
Because I think that's the issue with some of the other games is kind of somewhere the heart is kind of lost and gone. Fucking hell, it's some detailed map. That yeah, the heart is kind of gone out of the other ones, or they kind of just I don't know, they focus too much in the wrong areas. Um, but there's something magical about Tamriel. There's something magical about Elder Scrolls that I think, weirdly enough, it's not there because they love Fallout, which is why Starfield probably feels a little bit more like you're playing Fallout than it does
Starfield
being
definitely feels more like Fallout
because
in
they love
space.
Fallout, right? And it's like that's not your
They love Elder Scrolls too. Like, there's no like they know for a fact. I was watching an interview with Todd Howard not that long ago, and he said their most popular game and their best-selling game is Skyrim.
Yeah, of course it is. It was released on everything.
And they keep re-releasing it. I don't think they're under any illusion that, obviously, yeah, they might have a soft spot for Fallout. Starfield was a game that they wanted to make for a long time, a
Mm.
space game. They felt that if they don't do it now, they'll never get to do it because once they get into Elder Scrolls 6, that's going to take up the next whatever of their life. And then the
Yeah.
trajectory is Fallout again after that. And,
Really unfortunate Starfield, though, isn't it? If that was the thing they really wanted to make before they get stuck into and then not received well.
look, it has. It just wasn't the game to set the world on fire. Like it received more positive reviews than negative reviews. It has a lot of players to play it. It
Mm.
wasn't for me, but like it's certainly it got DLC and stuff. It's not like they've
True.
given up on the game. There's still people modding it. There's still people playing it.
I gotta
Um,
love that modding community. But yeah, no, if they just yeah, I want it to be good. It's a long. They've announced this now. How many years ago?
it was announced, I believe, in 2018, 2019, something like that.
Right, so that's like nearly
But they
six,
weren't
7 years
working on
ago.
it then, though.
Yeah, but you really should be announcing a game when you're working on it.
You really should be announcing a game when you're well into development and it's actually going to come out, Warner Brothers. But the thing is, Elder Scrolls 6 can be announced 10 years before and it will come out. Like, there's a good,
I
100% it will come out. Versus, announcing a Wonder Woman game and then closing the studio and cancelling the game. What you motherfuckers, what is wrong with you? And then they go on.
yeah, I was waiting for the. It was. I was wondering if you're ever going to bring that up.
I couldn't not
Um,
bring it up. I
of
can't
course, of course.
believe that they would close down Monolith over it as well. Like, what the hell? So the studio that made
That's the same thing with
Shadow
fucking.
Mordor games and stuff, and
That's the same thing as the rivals, though. Half the fucking people losing their jobs.
oh, Marvel Rivals, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Marvel Rivals. But back to Elder Scrolls 6. I was about to say something. I can't remember because
Sorry.
yeah. No, it's okay.
Well,
It's DC's. It's DC's fault
you
because
want it to be
they.
good, is what you were saying, and obviously, yes, that's what everyone wants. Who the hell is going to go into? I hope it's bad.
Right. Okay. Yes. Sorry. I know where I'm going with this now. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Quest, right.
I hope it's terrible. I hope it's.
I hope they absolutely fuck it in the ass.
I hope they nail it.
No. They so announcing it about 6, 7 years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 was announced fucking years ago, years before it got released.
Yes.
Hype builds up too much.
True.
You don't want that. You don't want the hype to build up too much. Now I know Todd Harry's a pretty good hype guy, to be honest.
He is.
He can kind of make you nearly buy. He can make you buy soap, to be honest. And you think like he's doing you a favor, even though you can buy soap down at the shop. But it's just that if you announce the game like GTA, what was it? GTA 6? Here's our game.
Yeah.
It's coming out 2025. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, that's nuts. That's crazy. You don't even have enough time to build up hype in your head for that game before that. Oh, actually, you do because it's still.
You do plenty of time.
Yeah. But what I mean though is that you don't have years. You don't have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years because we still haven't seen anything for 6. We don't even have a
Actual
respected
release date,
idea. Not even just we don't know where the fuck it's set. You know.
Oh, sorry,
I
thought when you said 6, I was still thinking of GTA 6.
Oh no. I was Elder 6.
Watching an interview with a guy who's like he's a journalist, but he's what's the word? He's like an analyst of the games industry. And he was able to answer like big financial questions as to how much games make, trends with certain studios, whether or not games investors are making smart decisions and stuff like that. And like it came up, I think the discussion was like, are video games doomed? I think it was on Kind of Funny podcast. And he was like, no, games are not doomed and they're not going anywhere. People think, oh, the gaming industry is fucked because of all these layoffs and all. It's just that people have hit, what he said was people have hit the ceiling in terms of how much games they can actually invest their time and money into at the moment. But all the like big suits started investing in too many games all at once, and there's just not enough time. So things just need to settle for a while before things pick up again, basically. That was sort of his, like, you can't, they already have all the gamers, basically. There isn't any more. You're going to have to wait a few years before more people get older, basically, before you get new gamers. But,
right, okay.
But he was asked then about GTA 6. Like, it's like, are they exaggerating too much when they say like, oh, that's going to be like the biggest game release this year? And he was like, that is going to be the biggest release of anything this year. The biggest media release in any genre of anything at all this year. If it comes out this year. It's going to it's going to be the biggest covered thing and highest selling thing this year. If it comes out. Or next year, whatever it does.
That's not hard.
I know it's crazy,
GTA
but I wonder, would the Elder Scrolls 6 be the next big thing then? Not into that same level, not across all mediums, but just in the gaming space. Is Elder Scrolls 6 the next big thing after GTA 6 in terms of gaming? Possibly.
Yes, possibly.
Bored the shit out of you with that question.
Sorry. Yeah. You just went on for too long, man. Too many words. I don't know what you're saying. No, sorry. Yes, it can be a big thing.
Right.
But I do think people have begun to lose faith in Bethesda, Todd Howard, all that, because of Fallout 4, because of Starfield, and that they're just like, they're really gonna have to fucking sell this shit. Like, they're really gonna have to showcase something awesome, because if they don't, then like they're gonna be like, well, that's 3 franchises. That could end up being 3 franchises and the fucking drain. Like,
I'm gonna make a prediction.
You're gonna make a prediction?
Yeah.
Joe, Chris. We adding this to the prediction list?
Generally speaking, no, not at all. Because we don't know when this is coming out. I think Elder Scrolls 6 will be better than Starfield and Fallout 4, but not as good as Skyrim.
I would hope that.
I think that I fully believe that. I think this is a case of like, you know, you get Square Enix making a couple of Final Fantasies, and like they're good, but they're not. You know what I mean? And then they do Final Fantasy VII remake, and for some reason that's brilliant. And it's like, are you just putting more effort into this one and not the other? Like what? What is it? But sometimes there's just a magic that strikes in the right place and in the right thing.
Hmm.
I really think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be special, but I think it'll be very hard to replace how special Skyrim is for us. And even if Elder Scrolls 6 ends up being technically a better game, I think we will never say it is. I think we will all be like, nah, Skyrim's the best. It's the GOAT. Ah, no, no, that hope.
True. Would Adam like it?
No. Even if it's perfectly amazing,
Yeah, no, you won't like it now.
he'll be like, they ruined it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Maybe he will. On the note of the rumor
That'd
of
be lovely if he did.
oh, I'd love it. Yeah, yeah, of course. On the rumor of dragons returning, I think what I would prefer, especially if they really did go down this naval battle route, and I'm kind of the more we talk about that, the more I'm kind of interested in like an aquatic theme. I think could be kind of cool.
Hmm.
But sea monsters like a kraken.
You know what? I think that'd be better than the dragons.
Yeah, 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 let's go. Again, don't make them the main focus. So don't basically do, let's just do dragons again, except it's sea monsters this time. Like, don't make that the main thing. Do something else as the main thing.
Hmm.
But have, like, if there is naval battles, have moments where the fucking Kraken awakens. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a big thing, and it feels unscripted, and it feels special. Kind
Like
of
the
like, do you remember when we played Sea of
yeah,
Thieves?
Sea of Thieves, the
And that
Kraken came
moment,
along.
and the storm came and stuff. Like, that would be so fucking cool in Elder Scrolls, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I also hope, right? So if you're having companions in this game,
Yeah.
right? Because if they do the whole ship building, ship battles, ship sailing, um, you'd have to populate your ship,
Oh god, yeah, of
which
course.
means you have to populate your ship with crew.
You collect the crew.
I, yeah, it'd be much like Starfield. You get all these characters to be part of your ship, but it just like allow you to have more people to be assigned to your ship
Mm-hmm.
than what Starfield allowed.
Yeah.
'Cause I think Starfield, you could have lots of people on the ship, but actually assigned to it, I think two or three, and then you had to like really do up one of the stats to like its max before you got like another one or two people,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't really work if you're doing naval combat because you need like the people to row the boats and then yeah maybe people to use the ballistas and people to fire like fire arrows even if you could have a magic caster who could cast like
Yeah.
spells and
Yeah. Yeah.
shit. So yeah, if they just kind of increase the amount of people that you could have assigned to your ship, which are all your crew, and then you can bring one person, I
How
suppose, with
cool would
you.
it be if you could name your own ship, build up your own companions, basically do
Jason of
like
the
your
Argonauts.
own Argonauts kind of adventure type thing, and you get and side quests involve like treasure maps and going to islands to find lost treasures and stuff,
Hmm.
and maybe they're old like Daedra treasures or maybe you know what I mean, like all within the lore and the context of Elder Scrolls, but like the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, this ship's thing could be cool. Like this
Yes.
going on voyages and going on quests to these different islands and then coming back to the mainland to revisit the main story and stuff.
Hmm.
Maybe there is a war going on between two nations. There could be a lot of cool shit. But okay, so to get to the end of the rumored ones, right?
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So set to have 12 to 13 big cities. Not much to say there. I feel like no matter what the region is, yes, there's going to be big cities.
Hmm.
Progression system is much more flexible, abandoning classes for a natural progression. I feel like Skyrim kind of did that anyway. You were able to switch and choose between, you could level up different classes and stuff. You didn't have to stay in one. So
Yeah.
that's
I
sort
mean,
of
Oblivion kind of did that. There was never
yeah,
classes.
yeah. I feel like they've already done that.
Yeah,
A long
I
time
don't.
ago.
Well, unless they mean something else, I don't really
Maybe.
get what they mean by that because there's never really Skyrim. Yeah,
And I said better combat. Um,
yeah.
this is something we all hope for, and
Hmm.
I hope is true. We love Skyrim. but one thing that it could definitely improve on is combat. And we spoke about some of the stuff from Avowed, for example, maybe like quick weapon loadouts so that you can
Mm.
feel you don't have to keep pausing to change weapons or go to magic. Like do it within maybe hotkeying magic, so you're using magic more, using more spells, that kind of stuff. Switching between the bow and like switching between ranged weaponry and like
Close
melee
range.
weaponry
Yeah.
would be fucking great. Yeah, because then it would just be like you're killing a guy and then there's a guy over there. You switch to an arrow, shoot that guy, switch back to swords. Go full Legolas on it. Game to have fortress and village building alongside settlement building. This is stuff that you were talking about anyway, especially if they were in the desert and stuff, building
Mm.
settlements there. I think this probably makes sense. You were able to buy a house and customize your house, and then there was the Hearthstone thing where you could fully build a house. They
Then
did the
Fallout 4
outposts in.
in Fallout 4, then in
Yeah, yeah.
Starfield you build your own ship and then you do the outposts again. So yeah, that seems very likely that if we're talking about building your own ship for naval, because that would be cool. The more we talked about it, that'd be pretty cool. Um, that yeah, it would make sense to do to have your building your own outpost. So maybe you build your own outpost with a dock, your ship can go there. So you have people working at the outpost and then more people working at the yoke, working on your ship. So that would just be you could recruit everybody. Why not?
Hmm.
Big class. Great way to keep ship.
Yeah, I feel like they will do that, and I'm not against it, especially if it's optional. I don't want it to be a main focus of the game, but if it's
Mm.
optional and that's the way in which when you beat the main game, you spend years and years living in the world, that's the kind of shit you end up doing. Um, and then the last rumored leak that I have here, maybe there was more to this, but this is all that I have, is that the game could be shown in July this year. What I want to use that as a question is when do you think, not when do you think it'll come out, because it's too hard to say that, I think. When do you think we will see the Elder Scrolls 6?
Earliest
Go on, yeah.
Game Awards this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Be the earliest I think that they would show something.
Okay. I'm not yeah, I don't not believe that actually. I think that's very possible. I think that is the earliest. I think you're right. I
Mm.
think this summer, no way. No way. I don't think so.
God, I hope
I
we're
mean,
right because
no,
I've
I
been
hope
wrong about my prediction so far.
I hope we're wrong. I hope it is this summer, but I don't believe it. I don't think so. I think you're right. I think they'll wait till GTA 6 has had its moment,
Yeah.
and then they'll go. It's time to start talking about Elder Scrolls 6. I think yeah, Game Awards earliest, but more likely, I actually think it'll be summer next year.
Oh, like Summer Game Fest type thing.
You know when they do the Xbox showcase in the summer? Like last
Mm.
year they did one, and I said it was the best game showcase ever.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I think it'll be the one more thing at that. I think it'll be the Gears of War E Day of that show.
Oh God, Gears of War eat dead cat.
You know
Wait.
what I mean?
Fucking
Because
jumping
as
to that.
well, we now know Fable is set to come out next year.
True, they delayed that,
So they're
yeah.
more likely to be showing off like Fable trailers and stuff at the Game Awards this year. And that's going to be like the big epic fantasy for Xbox next year. So they might show, as a possible timeline, they might show Elder Scrolls 6 next summer
Right, yeah, yeah.
and announce the title. And then we see another trailer at next year's Game Awards. And it comes out the following year, 2027. That's
Wow.
what I think is a possible timeline. But hey, maybe it's even further away than that. Maybe it'll be 2028. I don't know.
2030 want to be 10, 20 years after the Skyrim.
It won't take that long. That'd be crazy.
I don't
So
know.
we've talked about all the rumored leaks. We've talked about
Mm.
like the possibility of where it could be set, the possibility of naval battles, the possibility of various different things. And then we also talked about like some things like I was telling you about from Avowed that we might like to see as gameplay, switching out loadouts of weapons, maybe having companions have more of an active role in battle, and being able to issue them commands, and then also being able to like hotkey spells and things like that.
Mm.
Is there anything else you would personally like from the Elder Scrolls 6, either from a story point of view or from a gameplay point of view that we have not yet talked about?
Okay. So, um, better looking characters for when you're choosing your races.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the high elves look like crap. So if they looked better, that'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't just play
Um,
as a Nord all the time then.
yeah. Well, this time you probably play as a red guard the whole time because they probably make them
if
look the
if
best.
that's where they're going, then yes.
Well, or a Breton, depending on
Or a
what it is.
Breton. When I first played Oblivion, which is the first Elder Scrolls game I ever played, I played as a Breton. So I
Oh,
have
did you?
a little bit of a soft spot for them, yeah.
Yeah. So what would like? Honestly, yeah. The more we talked about that naval shit, like a spear,
A spear for combat?
a spear. That is one
Cool.
thing where I look at Skyrim
Yeah.
and I'm like, a spear would have been was actually genuinely probably like one of the most common weapons a soldier ever used.
A spear
That
that you can throw?
you can do both. You can
Yeah,
stab. You can
yeah.
if you hold
That'd be
it one
cool.
hand in a shield, you stab. Then you can
Yeah.
swap it and it's two handed and you swing it. And then you can aim with it and throw it. Why the fuck not? Spear.
Yeah, spear combat. That'd be great. I'd love that.
Staff. Glaive. Just add in pole arm combat into the game. I think would be really
There was
dynamic and
staffs, wasn't
cool.
there in Skyrim? There was staffs.
Yeah, but it was all like
Right, you mean ones that you can actually
quarter
attack?
staff. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, maybe if the spells are a bit better, maybe.
I would use magic more if you could access it quicker. Definitely.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure. And if they made it a bit more of an oomph to it.
Yeah,
Um,
like cool particle effects and things like that, which is what is to be expected from a better developed game nowadays, you know.
I know this is this is a thing where it probably wouldn't do it. But you know what? You have the Daedra missions.
Hmm.
Right, so Daedra missions, again, why not?
Yeah.
But Aedra missions.
Cool, yes. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So that you get and maybe like if they don't want I don't know why people have such a weird thing about talking to the good gods. It's like for some reason all these fantasy things are like either the gods have to be bad
Yeah.
or just really not involved. But
Yeah.
like the bad gods, they're gonna fucking talk all the time. So I feel like if they don't want to do the whole good gods talking, then at least you're even just talking to people who claim they're talking to the god. And therefore you can make up your own mind
Yeah,
whether they
someone who
actually
says
are
they're
or not.
an oracle or something.
Yeah. And then you do a quest and then maybe you get some powerful magical item or something like that. I think that would be cool. That would kind of diversify it a bit. Sea monsters, as you said, that would be awesome.
Sea monsters would be awesome, and if they do the naval thing as well, how cool would it be? I was just thinking especially when you mentioned Daedra, as a complete side quest, because the special thing in Skyrim is sometimes when you do a side quest that feels like a big deal, and you could have totally missed it. How about one where like you enter a gate of oblivion, but in the ocean, and basically end up in like the river Styx sort of a thing? You know?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. But yeah,
Um, I think because there was the Norse Roman theme for the Skyrim,
yeah,
and if you do Greek theme here,
almost.
Greek Persian theme. So if the Bretons had a very almost Greek reminiscent design, and then and then Hammerfell is very like almost Persian design, so it plays on that.
Yeah, I wonder what are the Bretons supposed to be like. Someone
I th
probably knows. I can't remember. What are they supposed to be like in terms of aesthetics? Like, because it would be pretty cool if they were sort of philosophers and kind of Plato-esque type people. But I'm not really. I know that they have a natural inclination to magic, and I know that there's something to do with mixing with elves in their history. But I don't know what their like dress
well,
aesthetic is or cultural aesthetic
their
is.
their names always kind of remind. I think their names always had that kind of us sound, the US, right? Um, which was always very kind of more Latin-esque.
Okay, yeah.
So you can't really do Roman again. They already did that with the Imperials. So therefore, the
Well,
next
actually,
closest one is
can't
Greek.
they fucking do what they like because they change over the ages? Because the Imperials in Oblivion looked like fucking like medieval knights, like
Yes.
Normans basically.
Mm.
And then by Skyrim they had turned into, you're right, the Roman Empire. Like they looked like
Yeah.
Romans. So actually, they don't have to stick to anything they've done before. And yes, they could go through a period whereby the Bretons have become the fucking Greeks, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Red Guards have become the Persians.
And
And
I just
it's
think,
yeah, they could do that. You're right.
and it'd be cool, like the cool aesthetic, and it'd be playing on the obviously the conflict between the Greeks and the Persians.
Yeah,
In from
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That would be pretty fucking sick and very different to Skyrim. Because I think the worst thing they could do, personally, as much as I love Skyrim, but we can keep replaying Skyrim. You can
mm,
mod Skyrim. People add new quests to Skyrim all the time. It'd be terrible if it just feels like Skyrim again.
yes.
It needs to be very much its own thing, I think.
Would you want different? I know this is very fucking like meh, but would you want different cavalry? Like not just a horse, but you can like ride on a weird like lizard
Creature or
creature
something.
across the desert.
Yeah, I'd be on for that. I'd be on for, yeah, other like mythical creatures and stuff being I'd be on for beasts playing more of a role than just fighting them.
Yeah, because I know that
Yeah,
like
that'd be cool.
the Khajiits, obviously I'd assume the Khajiits would be in this,
Oh yeah, of
but
course. All the races need to be in it.
yeah, but the Khajiits, I think, depending on the moons, depends on how the Khajiit is born. So I think some of them
Wild.
actually do look like big beasts that can be used as
Like battle cats? Like for a
like
fucking He-Man?
yeah, they look like battle cat, like, and you can ride on them. So I'm like,
Unreal.
if that is true, because I heard that, I don't know if it's actually
That'd be
true.
fucking cool.
That would be cool. You could ride around on a battle fucking cat.
Because you'd have wear if you have coin. Yeah, that'd be sick. I think like having other steeds and stuff would be cool. I think, obviously I want returning. They always do this anyway, but like, the Thieves Guild and
Mm.
stuff like that. But in a new way, and I want the side quests to be just as engrossing as before, but completely new. And some of them, like I remember, for example, like in Skyrim, the Thieves Guild ended up feeling very like a lot of heist missions kind of a thing.
Right.
Whereas the College of Winterhold, for example, felt like a little fucking Hogwarts adventure, basically.
Mm.
I like that within fantasy they were able to touch on different genres, and so I hope they take the opportunity to be adventurous with their side quests again and cover different genres within the side quests. The other thing I want from a story perspective, and I don't know, like this is gonna sound a bit silly maybe because it's like, Chris, you haven't actually got a thing. I I want to be surprised by the villain.
Okay.
So I think the natural thing would maybe to return to Daedric forces or another evil god from the Daedra and stuff like that, right? And if they do that, it might be awesome and they might pull it off and it might be great, but it's to be expected. It's to be expected. Dragons was very surprising to me,
Mm.
and yet it became such interesting in the lore, and it kind of popularized dragons again across pop culture, and it just like
And it popularized that design. That
as well,
design
yeah.
became the nearly standard for the dragons, even though it's incorrect. But
So I would like a surprising threat,
it'd be a cool
something that
threat.
I'm not expecting that makes me go, "That was fucking awesome," but I have
You
no
know,
idea what that would
you
be.
know, it'd be a cool threat, and you're gonna hate this because we came up with an idea
Right?
for a video game, and where you make your own character,
Yeah.
and then the villain is you. So that will be very surprising if you made your own character, and that's who the villain was you.
All right. Okay. But like, and maybe it could be like a mysterious, yeah. Like if it was a sea thing, maybe it could be like a mysterious force that have come from the sea, and nobody knows where they're from.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's a mystery there. You know what I mean? Like a foreign invader, basically.
yeah. Because hold on, let me get up the. I can get the world map up here. Because there is a world. Yeah, there's the planet. Right, the planet of Nern. So yeah, you have time, and over to the west, there's these
Yeah.
islands known as Yokudo. So like you could actually have like some of them coming over. There's some islands actually nearby.
Yeah.
Akavir, the Dragonlands, that's actually to the west.
That's cool.
East. There's a whole archipelago island known as Piandone, which is down south. and then Atmora's to the north, which is the continent where humanity, I do believe. Oh, there's Ross Cray. Huh.
Nice.
But yeah, no, if you actually had people, yeah, coming from maybe some of the other continents, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and something completely new that they're not used to either. Like a whole new
Mm.
culture that they're not aware of. I don't know, but either way, I want to be surprised by whatever the main threat is. I want to be, yeah. Um, but it needs to be something that feels world-ending and powerful. So I don't know what that would be, but they need to come up with something. Is there
Mm.
anything else you want from the Elder Scrolls 6 before we move on?
Uh, good. Yeah, I think we said this before, but good fleshed out companions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be very cool. And it's okay if your character, yeah, I suppose, well, they did this in Starfield where the character doesn't talk anymore. So I think that's fine to do character not talking anymore. But yeah, they really need to nail down the motivation. Like, yes, make the threat like, oh shit, that's a threat, but not make it so that you feel like you have to do that straight away. Or the opposite where you go like, I don't care. I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's yeah.
Are you now sold on the? Do you want it to be Hammerfell and High Rock and naval adventures? And
That
are
would
you like, yeah, I'm actually, yeah, I'm
if
interested in that now.
if they do it the way I'm picturing it, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which obviously don't have access to my brain, so
Well, guys, we want to hear from you. What do you want to see from the Elder Scrolls 6? Any ideas of what they might call it? Where do you want it to be set? What do you think about the rumors? Would you be in favor of them? Do you think any of them are actually true, or do you think it's just kind of, they're probably going to see a lot more as the in the coming years before we get the proper reveal of going, oh no, this is the new leak, and it's completely different stuff maybe. But do let us know what you think. If you're watching YouTube, drop down in the comments, share your thoughts. If you're listening to audio platforms, get in touch with social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Just before we finish up. Just on the topic of Elder Scrolls, and this is going to be the last thing, there is a rumor, and this is another reason why I don't think we'll see Elder Scrolls 6 this summer. But that doesn't mean
Mm.
we won't see the Elder Scrolls this summer. There is a rumor that there is an Oblivion remake in the works. I think the thought here would be a different team make it, that it would be to bridge the gap while people are waiting for 6. However, and hey, I could be wrong. I don't think it'll be a remake. I think it'll be a remaster, probably.
Oh. Well, I suppose it's actually way too big to do a remake.
Well,
You had to slap out a remake and like fucking it's a couple of years there, like
well, they might have been working on it for years, but I just think that a remaster could still look great, and also I think they could add in some of the like mods from Skyrim and some of the gameplay and stuff without remaking it, and but still call it a remaster. I don't think they need to remake it actually.
mm, a remake would be nice though.
Would you be interested in Oblivion Remake coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, and of course Game Pass
Day one.
and Switch 2?
Whoa. Slow down there, mister. Wait, do you know?
That could definitely play on the Switch too.
Yeah, but a remaster would.
Yeah.
Remake?
Yeah.
You said remake.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Still. Yeah.
Okay, so when we're saying remake, we're talking like with the Starfield style like graphics and stuff like
Oh, I don't know.
really.
I really don't know. Maybe. You think so?
Are you saying remake or remaster? Remasters is that they up the fucking scale
I
of the
think
thing,
it'll
like
be a remaster. I don't
right.
think
Okay,
it'll be
so
a
would I
remake.
be interested in a remaster? Is your question? Not interested in remake.
I'm asking you both.
All right, remaster. Yeah, I sure. I'll play that at your house. Remake. I would like because I heard that game is really fucking good. So I think I would like to play that if it just played better, looked better, wasn't so like you've did something wrong. Come on to me. Um,
So you'd
yeah,
prefer a remake?
I'd prefer a remake. Yeah. But
Yeah.
if it's remaster, I'll just go over to your house.
If they have the Xbox Summer Showcase this year, and Oblivion Remake is one of the games at it, would you be excited for that?
I'd be excited for that. I don't know if I get it day one, but I'd be excited for it.
Yeah, I'd be excited for it. Obviously, I would play it day one because it'd be on Game Pass.
Ooh.
Whether it's a remake or a remaster, I actually think it'll be a remaster. But when I say
Probably.
that, and I know people are probably gonna be like, "Oh, remasters are the worst." It's just like, I don't think it'll just be a port of the game, though. I think it'll be like you know when Square Enix did Crisis Core Reunion
Right?
and they called it a remaster, but there was enough done to it where other people were like, "That's a fucking remake." I think it'd be that. I think they would call it a remaster, but they'll actually do enough work for people to be like, "That's pretty much a remake." I think it
Maybe.
would play better. I think it would look better, but
Did
it
you
would be
know?
the exact same game. That's what I think.
Fun fact about Oblivion.
Yeah.
I think were one of the first major companies to create DLC, which was like
Ah,
horse armor,
right?
and then by people buying it,
Yeah.
it then caused the chain reaction of other companies going, wait a minute, we can create cosmetics and people will buy it, and now we have DLC.
Wow. So Oblivion was the first to do it?
I think it was one of the first, one of
Okay.
that caught on because I've seen that a few times across the internet now, where like,
Crazy.
yeah,
Well, guys, let us know if you want. By the way, they'll probably never have a better title than Oblivion.
that's pretty fucking
That's
good.
a fucking great title. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, let us know. Would you want an Oblivion remaster or remake? What would that mean? Do you think it's real? There's rumors that it does exist, that apparently it will come this year. Do you think it's true? What do you think? And then again, do let us know for our main topic, what you'd like to see from the Elder Scrolls 6. And if you're playing Avowed, what do you think of it? Is it scratching the itch, the Elder Scrolls itch? Is it tickling the itch? Or is it doing nothing for that itch? Do let us know. If you're watching YouTube, make sure you jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this discussion, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for all future content. And to those who listen to us on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on the Elder Scrolls 6. Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. We will be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.